Over 27,000 new believers joined the Adventist Church in Mexico. Digital evangelism is reinforced through Communication Summit in Indonesia. Journalist has a personal encounter with the project Life for Lives. Game Heroes is featured at the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. First in the news, more than 27,000 new believers recently joined the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Mexico as comprehensive evangelism efforts culminated with a national online evangelism campaign.
The coordinated efforts engaged thousands of members in spreading the message of hope and salvation found in Jesus throughout their cities, communities, and social media platforms. The online-only series drew more than 2 million people. This resulted in more than 5,000 baptisms in Mexico's 5 major church regions on the closing day of the series. Themed Esperanza Definitiva, or Ultimate Hope, the 8-day evangelistic series took place using a hybrid setup. A group of 500 individuals viewed the program in person at the Julio Glocker Lozada Auditorium in Puebla, Mexico, while thousands more tuned into the 1-hour evening messages.
From Mexico to Indonesia, coming from different islands, around 100 communication leaders flew to Bali, Indonesia to participate in the BiUnion Communication Summit and Adventist World Radio media training.
Leaders worldwide joined this gathering to impart spiritual guidance and technical expertise. Williams Costa Jr., Communication Director of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, presented how digital evangelism can reach billions of people through different applications and strategies. While the focus is on the importance of technology, Costa also reminded delegates about the importance of our nature as we carry out God's mission. Costa further stated, "I challenge each of you to be a believer who believes in Jesus. Have faith that our efforts will not be in vain, but through prayer and dedication, God will utilize every medium to proclaim His word around the world."
Now we are going to Oceania. More than 75 young people gathered at Pascoe Park in Christchurch, New Zealand, to connect and be equipped in their faith journey at the second Ignite event. The event is run annually by the North and South New Zealand Conference youth teams. Last year's event was held on the North Island at Hamilton Church. This year's event featured several workshops, a prayer space, a sports evening at Main Power Stadium, and many other activities designed to facilitate new connections and friendships. The event received positive feedback from attendees who expressed they loved the workshops and the chance to go deep into practical topics that help them grow in their walk with Jesus. We now head to the northwestern part of the United States, where there was a shoe giveaway. The Adventist churches raised additional funds and staffed the event with volunteers.
The donation was held on the Warm Springs Reservation of Oregon. The Madras, Pleasant Valley, and Redmond Seventh-day Adventist Churches collaborated in the event in close cooperation with the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs. Samaritan's Feet also helped with providing funding for this event. Tribal leadership contributed food for families in need and provided a drum cycle. 425 children either received shoes at the event or will get them soon by delivery.
A few years ago, Brazilian journalist Camila Marques reported on the project Vida por Vidas, Life for Lives, for her TV network. What she didn't know is that one day her family would benefit from the very thing she had reported on, the importance of donating blood. Recently on her social networks, she published the need for donors to save her father's life. And that's when she went from being a storyteller to seeing in her own life the difference a bag of blood makes. Her 63-year-old father, Carlito de Oliveira Lima, needed to be hospitalized due to a kidney problem. While hospitalized, he developed a bacterial infection and had to receive blood transfusions. The journalist declared, "For me, the project made all the difference because when I was in need, people reached out and helped to save my father's life." In all, 20 bags of blood were donated directly to help her father, who is still undergoing treatment. In 2021, about 120,000 volunteers in South America went to a collection point to make their donation, encouraged by Vida por Vidas, Life for Lives. Here's a short video on the project.
Ai, meu irmão salvou a minha vida. Graças à doação dele, eu pude me formar na faculdade, realizar meu sonho de ser mãe, ver minha filha crescer, andar de bicicleta, correr, enfim, viver.
O cara tem um coração enorme. Ele já ajudou muita gente com essas doações que ele faz. Por causa dele, eu até comecei a doar também. E olha que eu tenho pavor de hospital, agulha, essas coisas. Passo maior vergonha. Mas eu continuo indo todo ano, mesmo assim.
Nos últimos 7 anos, já somamos mais de 700 mil doadores e temos mais de 3 milhões de irmãos de sangue. Junte-se a essa família.
Irmãos, eu não sei quem vocês são, mas onde quer que estejam, obrigado por suas doações.
The Adventist Church's Bible trivia app, Heroes, was exhibited for the 4th time in the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. Developed by Hope Channel, Heroes is an interactive Bible trivia game featuring the stories of some of the most memorable Bible heroes. According to Hope Channel's Director of Digital Distribution, Justin Woods, the questions test players' Bible knowledge, encouraging players to dig deep into the Word. Woods added that over the past 2 years, Hope Channel developed a relationship with the Museum of the Bible that has led to this partnership.
Sam Nevis, Associate Communication Director for the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, shared, "The Museum of the Bible has been supportive and enthusiastic about partnering with Hope Channel on Heroes." Nevis added, "The first exhibition of Heroes at the Museum of the Bible in early June was quite positive, so we were asked to return for another exhibition. The invitation has been extended to every Friday, which is when the volume of visitors is high. Since the debut of the original version, Here's the Game, in 2013, there have been more than 10 million minutes of interaction. The game has also exceeded over 100,000 downloads. Heroes can be downloaded for free on any Apple or Android smartphone device. For more information about Heroes, visit heroesbibletrivia.org.
Coming up, the Communication Department of the Seventh-day Adventist Church reaches record-breaking numbers during the General Conference session. After that, we will hear about a unique center of influence on wheels in Australia.
When we boil human beings down, they're just a complicated bundle of nerve cells. That's reductionism. That's throwing God out the window, it's throwing ethics out the window, it's throwing transcendence out the window, getting rid of all of it. Now this is why this is important. This is well known, this is not just something David Asherick is saying. This idea of when you throw the anchor out, when you throw God out, and you don't pay attention to what it's attached to, you actually end up with a whole series of things that flow as a result of that decision or that action. In 1988, on what's called Darwin Day, longtime professor at Cornell University, who has since recently passed away of a brain tumor, William B. Provine articulated this idea really simply, really easily, and frankly, really scarily, right? And this is what he says. He says, naturalistic evolution has clear consequences that Charles Darwin understood perfectly.
We learn a lot as we journey through life. Our teachers might be family, neighbors, or even colleagues. But it can be difficult to find a mentor who truly understands our heart, our dreams, our goals. Someone who can help us overcome our deepest challenges. The Bible reveals that God wants to be your closest mentor, teacher, and friend. At Hope Channel, we can help you find freedom, healing, and hope in Jesus, and the wisdom in His Word, the Bible. We pray that the courses at Hope Study will help you find answers to your deepest questions. Let's walk together toward a deeper experience of wisdom and joy.
Jesus, by his own admission, looked to the prophecies of Daniel to understand the future. And for me, if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me. If Jesus was willing to look to the prophecies of Daniel to understand the events that are coming, I think we should look to the prophecies of Daniel to understand what's coming, particularly when he says, look to the prophecies of Daniel and understand them.
The 61st General Conference session of the Seventh-day Adventist Church is now over, but the results are still being seen online. With a digital-first approach to reporting, the communication department reported breaking social media engagement records.
With more than 80 team members collaborating from around the world, the communication department made this year's General Conference session accessible, engaging, and transparent for all, including those who are unable to attend in person. Daniel Bogdanov, General Conference webmaster, stated, "During the session, we had 4 teams operating around the world: in St. Louis, Missouri, in Manila, Philippines, a team of contractors in over 10 countries, and division and union communication directors. One major factor that aided in this year's communication success involved the translation of all media content. For the first time, content was created and posted on all major social media platforms and the ANN website in the following 4 languages: English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese. The church's official news source, ANN, also featured 4 daily programs throughout the week, allowing different demographics to connect with session events through ANN In-Depth, ANN Video, and ANN Late Nightish. As a result, the official Adventist Church YouTube channel in English grew by over 20,000 subscribers. The Spanish channel subscribers doubled, the Portuguese channel tripled, and the French channel quadrupled. In addition, the church's social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, were updated in real time for followers to find the most up-to-date content, allowing transparency and helping members feel like they were there. Members of the communication team are also at work 24/7, answering all social media comments and questions while offering opportunities for prayer. As a result of the team's hard work, 3,772 posts and videos were broadcast to the world throughout the Adventist Church's official social media channels. This content was viewed over 22 million times. More than 4 million individuals engaged with this content worldwide. Alyssa Truman, Digital Evangelism Manager at the General Conference, noted, "Many members will never be able to come to a GC session. However, with this huge communication strategy, we could reach down to the local level and help bring awareness and understanding of social structure." She added, "Up until 4 years ago, I was also a local church member. I felt like I knew that I was a part of a world church family, but I still felt somewhat disconnected from it. I feel like the work done brought the world church family closer."
Tutankhamun Roadshow. That's the name of a unique center of influence on wheels in Australia that is delivering ancient knowledge.
The Tutankhamun Roadshow is a multimedia display that basically explains so much about the ancient world. I believe that this is a mobile center of influence. At the moment, we're booked in 65 schools. We really connect with Year 7, and so it's all about fitting into the New South Wales Australian curriculum. So as they actually come to the truck, there's a couple of tents that are set up, and the first thing that they will see is a tell. Layers of a city where people lived. How do they know how old the various layers are? Because of pottery. And so we will give them out some pottery and we say to them, "Hey, what you've got in your hand, it's 2,000 years old." So everything is hands-on. Then when they go into the truck, the first room that they go into is called the code room, and it's the breaking of the code, the hieroglyphic code by Champollion. And then it goes on to the discovery by Howard Carter in 1922 of the tomb. In the next room, and we call it the tomb room because you're Howard Carter's eyes, and you go in and you discover the tomb, and he'll pick up the cup and we light up the cup, and so they see it on the screen, but then they see it in reality. But the final room, we tell the Dead Sea Scrolls story. They discover about David, they discover about the flood, they discover about Hezekiah and the Hittites, and they discover that all of these people were in Scripture and they were actually real. And here's the evidence. Look at Hezekiah, look at Sennacherib prison, look at all the stories that you hear there, and the flood story. And as they discover that, it's kind of like, wow. It's amazing. You see it, their eyes go, and it's kind of like, is this for real? And it's kind of like, yes, this is for real. And we can be confident about it. When you come to the third room, Tutankhamun asks the question, hey, what will you do with your life that will make a difference? I've left a bunch of treasure from my life, but what will your legacy be? I've had the Christian schools come back to me and say, hey, can you tell me more about archaeology? We want to do a full 1 hour subject on that when you come next time. And so we've had that opportunity, speaking specifically at their request on archaeology in the Bible.
From Australia, we traveled to the state of Minnesota in the United States to meet a banker whose focus is on the treasures of heaven.
My name is Denzel McNeilis. I'm from Dodge Center, Minnesota, and I am a banker by trade. Me, as being a businessman, I thought that my first job was to make money and give it to the church and let the professionals do the work. I didn't realize that there's this whole opportunity of sharing Christ in your own marketplace. And so I just get inspired by my own brothers and sisters that are involved in business, that are doing not just giving money, but they're giving. And don't get me wrong, you need to support the church. You need to be giving your money because that's part of who you are. But the real focal point is, what are you doing besides giving your money? That's where it really comes down to. Where are you sharing Christ? Where are you giving your own personal Bible study? Where are you being involved? Because let's face it, the Lord doesn't need our money because He has it all, right? What He needs is us. And what we need to do is be giving not just of our money, but of our time. We're a family-owned bank, so we're a community bank, and we mainly focus on small businesses. Our main focus here is to take care of our customers and to be a light in this community for Jesus. I believe the Lord is using this business. I believe that we as business people have an opportunity to share Christ where we are. And I believe every person is put in a position to reach people that no one else can reach.
On the banking side, people tend to be a little more vulnerable when they're discussing their financials, and so they'll let their guard down a little bit. That can filter into other types of discussions. Obviously, religion would be a component of that.
Because we call these divine appointments, these opportunities that He gives us to share. I feel that if God calls you into a place where you are working with the public, that He does expect you to share Him.
Well, sharing Christ in a marketplace can't just be a meaning. It has to be a lifestyle in what we do as a family. I always make it a point of when a customer asks me, how are you doing? Because that's kind of a standard answer. I always say, well, I'm doing fantastic, but it's going to get better. And they'll say, well, how does it get better than fantastic? And I say, well, the Lord's coming. And so I know with the Lord coming, it's going to get better than that. Or another person will ask, well, how are you doing? And I say, I'm very blessed. I had a customer say to that to me, he goes, that's right, you're a Christian. I really would like to talk to you about your faith. Can we meet and talk about your faith? And so just by answering questions like that in a way that creates opportunity for opening the doors, I think is very, very important for us to open doors to be able to share the gospel. Our friend Dwight Hildebrand says it best. He says, once you share Christ, it's like a disease and there is no cure, because you want to do it over and over and over again because it's such a joy.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more weekly features.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system: the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the seventh-day Sabbath. The first 6 columns of the grid belong to the designer. They can be filled with anything: text, images, illustrations, patterns, and logos. But the 7th column, the Sabbath column, does not belong to them. It is meant to be different and special. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
And when Adam and Eve ate of that tree, he gave them over to the consequences of the choices that they themselves had made. God never gives up on us, right? We sometimes give up on God. God doesn't give up on us, but what he will do if we are insistent on pursuing a course of action that's contrary to his revealed will, he will give us over to the consequences of the choices that we ourselves have made.
Have you ever wondered if there was more to life? Do you have big questions with hard-to-find answers? The Discover Bible Guides are Hope Channel's free gift to you. These 26 beautifully illustrated guides cover major themes of the Bible and answer some of life's deepest questions. Visit hopebiblestudy.org or call 888-446-7388 and begin your journey to discovery today.
I'm Andre Hastic from the Bible Help Desk program. Every week we open up the Word of God together here live. And there's one thing that I know, that when the Bible is opened, lives are changed. Has your life been impacted by what we do here on this program? We'd love to hear from you. Email us at BibleHelpDesk@hopetv.org. Or you can give us a call at 833-BIBLE-HD. We'd love to feature your story soon.
Welcome back. Larry has found that by implementing Christ's method of ministry, people allow him into their daily lives. He works as a global mission pioneer on a remote island in Indonesia. Adventist Mission has more.
Larry is a cheerful person. His smile and hospitality help him make friends and mingle with people. God called him to serve as a global mission pioneer in Bualo village in Manado, Indonesia. This district is considered an unentered area for the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and many people are hungry for the gospel. Larry received approval from government officials and the village leaders to work here. The first thing he did was visit every family in the community to become friends with them. As with many other small islands, most people here work as fishermen. Larry loves to be out on the water with the fishermen, helping them feed their families. He has found that by implementing Christ's method of ministry, people allow him into their daily lives. Planting fruits and vegetables is not common practice in this area. Larry saw this as an opportunity to meet people's needs. He created a farmers group to teach the community how to start small gardens or farms around their houses. The goal was to provide some of their vegetables, chilies, and other daily foods. Larry always starts the programs with worship and prayer. But the farmers group is just one of his methods of outreach. He also helps the community by distributing used clothes to them, which makes them very happy. Since this island is so remote and far from the main island, medical care is hard to access. Malaria is a threat here. High blood pressure and cholesterol are some of the common health challenges. Larry helps out by providing free health checkups and basic medical treatment to community members. People are so grateful for what he is doing for them. One day, one of the farmers' group members was sick. He's one of the members who came regularly to the worship discussions and grew interested in the Sabbath. Larry took care of him until he was fully recovered. The family praised the Lord because of his kindness. This family has asked Larry to continue visiting them to pray and share more about the truth, especially more about the Sabbath. Please pray for the work that Larry is doing in this newly entered area of Indonesia. Pray that more people will open their hearts and be ready for the second coming of Jesus. Thank you for supporting global mission efforts to send pioneers like Larry into unentered areas of the world.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMission.org, then click on Videos at the top. And finally, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
Throughout this week, July 17th through 23rd, 72 years ago, the 46th General Conference session met in San Francisco, and it had already met for a week, having convened on July 10 with 943 delegates attending. They elected William H. Branson as president to succeed the retiring J. Lamar McElhaney, while a new treasurer, Chester L. Torrey, was elected to replace the retiring William E. Nelson. Both McElhaney and Nelson had served in their offices since 1936. Significantly, the 1950 GC session created two new divisions. The first, the North Atlantic Division, was a merger of the existing Northern European Division, the British Union Conference, and the West African Union Mission. The new entity was soon renamed the Northern European Division. The Middle East Division was also created and given responsibility for the whole of the Middle East and parts of North Africa. The division had charge of Adventist work in the region for the following 20 years. On July 18 in 1868, John and Maggie Loughborough and Daniel and Marion Bordeaux arrived in San Francisco on the U.S. West Coast, having been sent as the first missionaries of the fledgling Seventh-day Adventist Church. Missionaries was the term given to them, for Seventh-day Adventists at the time had no missionaries outside the United States. And John N. Loughborough, for one, treated California like a foreign country, for his letters home betray almost a sense of culture shock, and he several times contrasts the way things were in California with how they were back in the States. The missionaries quickly adapted, however, and on April 10, 1869, the first session of the California State Meeting of Seventh-day Adventists met in Santa Rosa, chaired by Loughborough. It was to become the California State Conference in early 1873 and was accepted by the General Conference into membership at the 11th GC session in March 1873. Meanwhile, on November 21, 1869, Bordeaux had dedicated the first Adventist church west of the Rockies in Santa Rosa. Seventh-day Adventism had become established on both coasts of the United States, a key step forward for the young denomination. That was this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Did you know the Adventist Church has a YouTube channel where you can watch ANN video, ANN in depth, and plenty of other amazing videos on prophecy, health, and Bible study? Just go to YouTube and search for the Adventist Church. Make sure you click the subscribe button so that you never miss a new video. And remember, leave a comment or prayer request. We have a team who are praying for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before we say goodbye, we'll leave you with some good news from the book of Job, chapter 23, verse 10. The passage says, "Yet he knows the way I have taken. When he has tested me, I will emerge as pure gold." That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit Adventist.news for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.